How can you connect different marketing tools without using an app integration? You know those situations when, in marketing, we have this a lot. You're trying to connect different apps, right? But you don't really find an easy way to do this kind of stuff. Here's an example, but the logic applies to other apps, right? Suppose I'm using Brevo as my main CRM and email tool. Brevo is it's a brilliant, simple CRM and email marketing tool for small to medium-sized businesses. So my fictional contacts database is here, right? I have a bunch of contacts here. First name, last name, email, job title, country, industry. This is my email list right here. Of course, this is all fictional. And what I want to do is I want to send a Slack notification to my team as soon as we get a really good lead in the system. So as soon as a new great lead, a lead that totally matches our criteria, gets added to the CRM, I want to receive a Slack notification for that. How do I do this? Well, the first thing that would come to my mind as a marketer is, let me go to the automation section and see if I can build a workflow for that, right? Well, sometimes we can't do this kind of stuff through workflows. This is a perfect example. So inside the automation section of Brevo, I don't actually have an action related to sending a Slack notification, right? In terms of messaging, the only actions that I can use are send an email, send an SMS, send a WhatsApp message, right? I don't really have an option called send a Slack message. To make things worse, I went online and I realized that Brevo and Slack don't really have a direct app integration. I can simply install and magically connect things. For those situations in marketing, which we have a lot, the best thing to do is really to use integration services, right? Zapier and Make.com and N8. And there's so many different types of integration services out there. Most of them are AI powered nowadays, right? And so let me just show you a creative solution here for this scenario that I just described. And of course, you can apply the exact same logic regardless of the apps that you're looking to connect. I went to Make.com and I've created an AI-powered automation to notify me of good leads as soon as they enter my Brevo CRM. I receive a Slack notification. Okay. What do you mean by that, Talita? I'll actually receive a pop-up notification in my screen. Let me show you by running one module here just to give you this as an example. So let me just give you a quick example here. Suppose that this brilliant lead is called, John example, right? John is a founder based in the United States and industry that matches exactly our buyer persona, right? Let me just show you an example of the notification that I would receive. Good lead. John example, founder, United States, tech, right? So I would actually receive a notification inside Slack and this can be a notification to myself only. I can also automate this for an entire team, right? As long as it's a Slack workspace channel, it's good to go. So let me show you how I build this from scratch. If you're unfamiliar with Make.com, it's an excellent AI-powered automation service. I've been playing around with Make.com for quite a few months already. And actually, I have a full playlist with videos on AI automations I'm building inside Make.com. Most of them are just for fun because I love exploring this type of stuff. But actually, I use quite a few of them for my own business as well. So there is a playlist here on my channel called AI and Marketing Automation. Is that it? Or Marketing Automation AI? Now I don't remember. I'm adding it here in the video for you. And so make sure to subscribe and check out this playlist if you're interested in this kind of stuff. Inside Make.com, basically what you're going to do is you're going to create a scenario. A scenario is basically an automation, right? It's the exact same way I would be coming here inside Brevo and creating a workflow with a trigger that fires off my automation with actions. Inside Make.com, I would be creating a scenario. Okay, so let me create this scenario from scratch together with you here. The automation that I was showing you just now does this by order, right? I have a new lead added to my CRM. This lead matches my ideal customer criteria. OpenAI analyzes whether this is a good lead or not. And then I receive a Slack notification, but only for the good leads, not for the bad ones. So this is what my automation does. Okay, let's go ahead and let's build this from scratch. I'm just gonna save this in my other desktop here. Perfect. So the first element that we're going to add here in this case is actually the trigger, right? So let me just pull Brevo here. In order to use all these different apps connected, I have to connect them to Make.com in the first place. Okay, so I actually already went ahead and I did this. The trigger that I'm going to watch here, the trigger that I'm going to choose here is the watch contacts. It triggers when a new contact is created in the CRM. Just so that you know, there are different types of Brevo related triggers that I can use as well, okay? Whether you're using Brevo or not, this is also valid for other CRMs, okay? So if you're using ActiveCampaign, you're using HubSpot, you're using Kit, right? You're using other types of CRMs. If Make.com offers this as an app, right, you can choose the same type of trigger. Here's another example. Let me just give another example to prove my point here. HubSpot. I'm using HubSpot to it. I'm not using, Brevo. Great. Same thing inside HubSpot, right? You have a list of things that you can choose to trigger your automation from. So choose your CRM, come here and add its name. You're gonna find the app for it. And I know this because there's so many different apps inside Make.com. It's actually kind of crazy. But let's go back to Brevo. Brevo triggers when a new contact gets added to my CRM. And I already went ahead and I connected Brevo with Make.com. You have to do this in the first place, okay? Let me just limit it to 1 here. What is this? This is the maximum number of results that this automation will fetch in every running cycle. Right now I have a running cycle for right now it's actually offline because I'm still building it, but later on I can turn this on and I can, choose whether I want this thing to run every 5 minutes, every 1 hour, every 10 hours, right? I can choose this here, right? And so this is an execution cycle. Let me just save 1 here. Do I want to start a specific contact or just simply look at all of them? Let me just leave all for this scenario here. I can filter by when I want this search to start. Basically what's gonna happen here is that this automation will start watching my CRM. It will literally come here to my CRM and it'll go, oh, cool. Now I have 11 contacts. Maybe in 1 hour we have more, right? And then if in 1 hour from now I have 12, it will actually fetch information about that new contact that got added. It will simply, as the name says, it will watch my CRM from now on. Cool. So let me go back to Make. And the second step is I'm gonna get OpenAI to analyze whether that new contact that got added is a good or a bad lead, right? The type of action I'm going to use here is create a model response, which basically means, hey, I'm gonna add a prompt, OpenAI, give me the result. This is basically it, right? There are different types of OpenAI related actions that I can use here. What are you doing, Talita? I am simply adding AI to my automation. I'm gonna get ChatGPT to analyze my contacts that got added in the CRM. So it triggers when a new contact gets added. OpenAI will analyze this contact. Okay. The prompt that I'm going to use is this one here. Let me just copy and paste this. This is a text prompt that goes like this. Kind of long, but let me read this together with you so you understand. You're a lead qualification assistant. Okay. Here's a new contact. Here's how a new contact is structured, right? First name, and then I'm mapping the first name word with the actual data point that I'm getting from step 1, right? So what I'm doing here is field mapping. If you've done field mapping before in your career, whether because you're doing an import or you're doing an app integration or whatever, you're very familiar with this. It's the exact same thing. I'm just telling ChatGPT, hey, this is what a first name is whatever is inside the data point called first name inside the Brevo step, right? So to make this easier to understand, when Brevo starts watching contacts and fetching information about my contacts, Brevo will extract different types of information from my contacts, right? If I look at my contacts list, I have different types of information there. I have first name, I have last name, I have email, I have job title, I have country, I have industry, and more, right? These are just some. And so what I'm telling here to ChatGPT is, look, there is this thing called first name, there is this thing called last name, there is this thing called job title, there is this thing called country, there is this thing called industry. This is what you're gonna pay attention to. The qualification rules, just for my example here, are someone who is a good lead is the contact is job title founder and country United States. Industry is either banking or tech. Okay, a bad lead for us is anyone who is not a founder and anyone who is not in the United States. And now an okay lead for us is someone who is a founder, they are in the United States, but they're not in banking or tech, they might be in any other industry, right? So I have these 3 categories of leads: good leads, bad leads, okay leads, okay? And I'm just telling ChatGPT, hey, state whether they are a good lead, an okay lead, or bad lead, based on this information that I'm providing you with here. Okay, so this is my prompt here. And the very last step is actually to select the model of OpenAI that I want to use here. There's some information on OpenAI models in the description of this video below. This is pretty much it. The cool thing about these types of automation is that you can actually test them as soon as you're creating that step, right? So let me just test the Brevo trigger together with you. I'm gonna click here, right button of my mouse, run this module only, and it's working. So Brevo fetched information about a contact that I have in my CRM, right? So here, Brevo, in this case, has this contact called email hello@talitamillan.com, and first name Talita, last name Test, job title marketing manager, country Spain, industry banking. This is fictional, but it's working, right? So and it fetched one contact because I added this as a limit. So I'm testing this specific action here, right? Now let me go ahead and let me test with you this action to see if ChatGPT will do a good judgment here. Let me run this module only and let me say, so suppose, a new contact gets added. They're called Peter, example, and they are a founder, and they are United States, and they are in tech. Okay? Suppose that this is the case. Let's see if ChatGPT will do the right judgment here and categorize them as a good lead. Here you go. Result, good lead. Okay. These are all different things that ChatGPT is getting, but it doesn't matter. What matters is in here. Result, this is a good lead. That's correct. Let's do it again. Let's try with a bad lead now. So run module only. Peter, example. Job title would be singer. Country is Spain, industry is banking. Let's confuse ChatGPT a little bit. Bad lead, so that's correct as well. I can keep on testing as much as I want, but I don't want to spend too much time on this here with you because we still need to finish this automation, right? The next step here is to add the final action, which is the Slack message. So let me just choose Slack as an app. I'm going to get make.com to create a Slack message. I'm going to make sure I have my workspace, my Slack workspace connected with, make.com, obviously, right? Otherwise I can't really do this. And I'm going to make sure it creates a message in the channel that I have. And let's just go for the channel leads qualification. That's a perfect channel for this example here. Okay. Now, what do I want to have in the actual notification that I receive inside Slack? I want to have the result, right? I want to have the result of whatever ChatGPT decided on. And I want to have some information about the person that was, found in the Brevo action here. So let me just go first name, last name. I'm just simply collecting information from these different steps that I have in my automation. Let's just do it like this actually. So first name, last name, and then let's do job title, and then let's do country, and then let's do industry. Okay, so all of these things here are things that I'm getting from the apps that I have in my automation. Okay, I am getting the result of the judgment, the analysis from here, and I'm getting the contact information from here, okay? This is where we get contact information from my CRM. And this is where we get decision on whether they are good, better, okay. Does that make sense? Now, important thing, I only want to receive notifications on the good or okay leads. I don't want to see the bad leads. So I'm gonna add a filter here, okay? So that I only receive a notification about good or okay leads. And the condition in this case is result is equal to either good lead or result is equal to okay lead. Talita, how do you make sure that it's gonna pick correctly, in the way that you're describing? Well, it depends on what I have in my prompt here. In my prompt, I clearly state the task is someone is a good lead, an okay lead, or a bad lead. This is the only thing you're giving me. I don't want anything else from this prompt here. Make sense? Once again, let's test the notification to see if it's working. Run this module only. Suppose that we got Peter, cool, and job title would be a founder, country would be United States, and the industry is banking, so a good lead. And then suppose that ChatGPT did a good job and identified someone as a good lead. Okay, I'm testing this module and here is my notification. I could probably add some space in here, but that's irrelevant for this example. This is essentially how I create an automation by connecting different apps inside make.com. Once again, you can do the exact same thing regardless of the apps you're connecting, right? Something is coming from your CRM. Add this as a trigger, use OpenAI or any other Gen AI tool of your choice, Perplexity, Gemini, go crazy as much as you want. I have a ChatGPT account, I use it more often, so I'm going with OpenAI, and you can automate a Slack notification. It doesn't have to be a Slack notification. You can, I don't know, send an email to yourself. You can do whatever you want. The important thing about this video is the following. The logic is it triggers when something happens in your CRM. You use AI to analyze that thing that happened, and then you notify, right? That's basically it. You can follow the exact same logic regardless of the apps that you're connecting, okay? This is simply an example here. So why don't we go ahead and I'm gonna add a new contact to my Brevo CRM, and we're going to run the entire automation to test it out. Cool, so I'm inside my Brevo CRM. Let me create a contact together with you. Let's just say that this is Mariah example. Okay, this is Mariah's contact information. Mariah is a founder. Mariah is based in the United States, and Mariah is in tech. So a contact got created. Okay, I actually have to add some information here. So let me just do a really fake, hello at mariahexample.com, and I'm just gonna add a fictional phone number here. This doesn't actually exist. Oh, okay. Hang on, let me add some fictional phone number here. We'll get back to it in a second. Okay, I had to add a phone number, probably because in my Brevo CRM I have phone number as a mandatory field. Forgot to change that, I'm sorry about that. Either way, here you go, Mariah example is created, right? So basically the idea is that as soon as I turn on my automation, make.com will understand that we have this new contact, right? It will take a look at all the attributes that we have for Maria, and it will make a decision whether this contact here is a good lead, a bad lead, or an okay lead, and then it will fire off a notification. So that being said, let's go ahead and let's turn this on and let's test it out. Mariah example, founder, United States, tech. Brilliant. This is pretty much what I wanted. If I go to Slack, I can, see the full notification there. But this is essentially what I wanted, right? The notification. As soon as me and my team members look at this amazing new lead that got added, we can go in and send them an email or something like that. So this is essentially how you can use automation to notify yourself or team members about important things that are happening in your customers' database, in your business, right? Once again, don't forget that the exact same logic applies to any other apps you might want to connect. And this is how you use AI automation to notify you or team members about good leads that land in your CRM.